Picture this. You are walking to a job interview. You're qualified. You're prepared. You're ready. And you're also pregnant. Now you're wondering, will they see my skills or will they see a cost? Will they see commitment or a maternity risk? This is not a small question. It's a question about rights, about safety at work, and about how democratic our workplaces truly are, if you can believe it. It's been a while. My name is Carlo-Marcel, and today on People and Platforms, we are talking about maternity leave, industrial democracy, psychological safety, and how they interplay in the workplace. And we'll zoom in on Zimbabwe's 2023 Labour Amendment Act, what it changed, and why it matters in interviews, in workplaces, and in the way we think about women's participation in the broader economy. And don't worry, this isn't just some legal jargon. I'll bring in real stories from other countries where women took this to court, and we'll talk about what the International Labour Organization says should guide all workplaces globally as a best practice, not a mandatory standard for all countries to employ. Let's start here at home. For years, maternity leave in Zimbabwe had some restrictions. You had to work at least a year for the same employer to qualify, and even then you could only take maternity leave 3 times in your entire career with that employer. Now imagine that. Your biological reality, your choice to start a family, it was kept by law. 3 strikes and you're out. But in 2023, the Labour Amendment Act changed this. No more 1-year waiting period, no more 3 times rule. From day 1 on the job, every woman qualifies for 98 days fully paid maternity leave. That's a huge leap. It aligns squarely with our constitution, which already promised maternity rights. And it brings us even closer to what ILO calls for in its Maternity Protection Convention, that maternity leave is a right, not a favor. So, what does ILO actually say? They've been clear for decades. The Maternity Protection Convention says at least 14 weeks of maternity leave with pay that allows women to actually survive. And this is important. Women should be protected against discrimination. This means no losing a job, no losing opportunities, and yes, no being refused a job just because you are pregnant. They also stress employment protection and non-discrimination. Pregnancy can never be a reason to deny or limit opportunities in the workplace. It's about fairness, but also about economics. ILO has shown that when women are supported during maternity, they stay longer in the workforce. Companies save on turnover costs and society benefits, frankly. So it's not just a women's issue, it's a productivity issue, it's a democracy issue, and it's a human dignity issue. Now let's bring in that phrase, industrial democracy. What does it mean? How do we conceptualize it? Simply put, it's about voice and fairness in the workplace. Before 2023, employers had the power. They could say, you haven't worked here long enough, so no leave for you. Or you have already taken leave 3 times now, you're done. That wasn't democracy, that was gatekeeping. The new law shifts the balance. It says every woman from day 1 has equal standing. It moves maternity leave into the category of rights, not perks. That's what industrial democracy looks like. Equal rules for all, a level playing field to whatever degree that we can manage. But let's go deeper. It's one thing to have rights on paper, it's another to feel safe enough to use them. That's where psychological safety is ushered in. Psychological safety is when you know you can speak up, you can ask for help, you can say, I'm pregnant, and not fear that it will cost you a job, your promotion, or your respect for that matter. Before the 2023 reform, many women hid their pregnancies in early jobs because they didn't want to lose eligibility. That's silence, not safety. Now, with the new law, the door is more open, but culture still matters. If managers roll their eyes when someone requests maternity leave, or if colleagues whisper about who will carry the load, the fear stays. So psychological safety means women can take leave without fear of punishment and come back knowing they still have a future in the organization, and for crying out loud, they still have a job. They're not going to lose out on opportunities on training and such that happened in their absence. Okay, let's go back to that interview room. You are pregnant. You sit across from the hiring manager. What happens? Let me share some real cases. In the United States, a case against Founders Pavilion showed the employer refused to hire one woman because she was pregnant, withdrew an offer to another, and even terminated a third during maternity leave. The regulator stepped in and the company paid. Walmart, same thing. They had to pay a settlement after rejecting a pregnant applicant. In the UK, also, the law is clear. If a job offer is withdrawn after you disclose pregnancy, that's discrimination, period. And there's been multiple tribunal cases where women won after exactly that happened. In South Africa, our neighbor, pregnancy is a protected ground under the Employment Equity Act. Courts, they have said if you dismiss or disadvantage someone because of pregnancy, it's automatically unfair. In Australia, the Fair Work Commission has pursued cases where women were sidelined or rejected because of pregnancy. So, the story is the same across contexts. Employers that saw pregnancy as a risk ended up paying the price in court costs, in settlements, and in reputation, which I believe is the biggest asset that an organization needs to preserve. So what does this mean for us right here in Zimbabwe after the 2023 amendment to the Labor Act? It means if a recruiter thinks I won't hire her, she'll just go on leave. That thought is not only unethical, it's illegal. Our Labor Act already bans discrimination against prospective employees. Our constitution protects maternity, and now the law gives maternity to every woman, no matter her tenure. Who are you? Do not respect that. So the excuse of it will cost too much doesn't stand, because cost avoidance is not a defense against discrimination. The smart move isn't to avoid hiring pregnant women. It's to plan, have coverage systems, train some backups, build flexible teams that can pick up the slack when the next person has to go. And let's be honest, pregnancy is temporary, talent is long term. So passing on a skilled candidate because of a few months leave, that's not just unfair, it's bad business. Here's the takeaway. If you are an employer, audit your hiring process, train your panels, strip out bias and update your policies. That's the important bit. Those old one year rules, 3 times capes, they're outdated, no longer law. If you're a candidate, you don't have to disclose pregnancy in an interview. It's not mandatory. The law protects you. But if an offer is withdrawn after disclosure, document it. That's potential evidence of discrimination. And for all of us, this isn't just about compliance. It's about the kind of workplace we want to build. Workplaces that see people, not risks. Workplaces that design for dignity, not for silence. So, let me leave you with this. Maternity leave is not a perk. It's not a perquisite. It is not a burden. It's a right. It's a matter of whether our workplaces are truly democratic and whether they are safe for people to show up fully as themselves. Zimbabwe's reforms bring us closer to the global standards set by the International Labour Organization. But the final step is cultural, making sure that in the interview, in the office, in the boardroom, women don't feel like they are liabilities. Because here is the truth. A truly democratic workplace isn't just written in law. It's lived in everyday moments. Like whether you can walk into an interview pregnant and still be seen for your talent. I'm Carlo-Marcel, and this is People in Platforms. Thanks for listening, and remember, when we make workplaces safer for women, we make them better for everyone. Until next time, cheers.